All right, everybody. Well, hello and welcome to an entirely retro version of the Party Invite podcast.
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic. This is a throwback. We're doing an old scene right now due to technical difficulties. I am your host, Tinykin, with this beautiful Twitch background. Up here, we have Chris.
Hello.
And let's see if I...
Nope, other way.
No, other way. Vilos.
That's me.
There. Wonderful, and we are 3 of the 4 members of Party Invite. Sovereign Sid wasn't able to join us tonight, but
She is
fortunately,
she's somewhere in the blue void in the bottom right hand of the screen.
Fortunately, we will be talking about the game that she would be here to talk about. But before we get to what we've been playing, I briefly want to ask you guys: do you have anything that made you smile this week? I would start with right next to me. I got a big old box of maps. Lizzie and I went. We went on a walk to a local bakery, and we didn't take 10 steps out of our front door, and we see a garage sale across the street. We walk up, and they're just getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Well, here in Seattle, my favorite store in the entire city is the Map Store. It is a wonderful place that's full of like cool Seattle maps and stuff, but just all of these amazing maps and books and pictures and all these things that are just incredible. Like if you like nature and just looking at scenery, that place is amazing. So we walk up to this garage sale, and there's a whole box of maps. One of the relatives of the people who live there, she's been hiking her whole entire life, and so a lot of these maps are like really old. But I mean, there's so many in here. She used to be a renowned hiker. She was apparently the first woman to hike some specific segment of Mount Rainier. So she was thrilled that this box was going to somebody who would actually enjoy it. And I can't wait to dig through this thing. It's all maps of Washington, and I mean, it's got to be the whole entire state based on how many categories there are in here.
That's crazy.
But that is just so cool. And so we left, went to the bakery, and then on our way back, we actually met the woman because she wasn't there earlier, but we actually met her, so we were able to just chat and stuff. And so that was real heartwarming. You know, she was as thrilled to give it as we were to get it. So I'm really looking forward to. Wow, Chris, this show some respect. It was really nice. Really put a smile on my face. So excited for that. Excited to dig around in that box. You know. How about you guys out there? Chat. Anybody with anybody who's grown up a little bit. Wow, look. These two can't even keep it together. Chat.
Oh, the struggle was already so fucking real today. So like
Yes.
that was.
This is the best. No, we're killing
my
it.
goodness.
Oh god.
These guys.
Okay. Yes, I have something.
Oh hey, Chris, real quick. Odysseus says I might be echoing. So my question to you is: do you have the stream open on your computer?
I do.
Let's nip that in the butt.
Oh, no, I do not. I do not have the stream open on my computer.
Right,
I'm not really hearing an echo.
All right, well. Oh, it could be when I speak loudly. Oh, I thought it would.
I also turned you down so that my mic might have been picking it up, so I turned it down, so that might have helped. Anyway,
I tend to be loud.
The thing that made me smile today was Devin's been cleaning out her boss's house, and they're just getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Just like, hey, get rid of that. Whatever's in there, whatever's in that closet, get rid of it. Well, she brought home a couple things. Video game related. She took pictures of them and said, do you want these? And I go, are those in the packaging? And she said, yes. And I go, yes, I want those. So here we have Ultimate Doom. Sorry, it is so shiny. Ultimate Doom PC. This is 93. In its packaging.
Crazy.
In its shrink wrap. was originally $29.99 at CompUSA, but is now worth $300.
Hell yeah.
And the other one that I found that I didn't even know existed, which is amazing, is a Magic the Gathering card game on PC, also from the 90s. Didn't know they did this. This is
Yeah,
very
I
cool.
didn't know that existed.
Made
The
by
first
Steam.
Magic the Gathering game I ever heard of was the 2014 version.
Yeah, this is wild. But I also have like the guidebooks and stuff to these that are also in very good shape. So I'm gonna see about some collectors who might want this stuff. There's a whole mess of N64 stuff and some older original Xbox stuff. Nothing of note, but those are super rad. Very cool that they're still in their packaging.
Yeah.
Because you've been sitting in a closet for however many years now. Too many years to count.
30 years, dude.
Nope,
That's
that's not real. Not 30. It's only 20, right?
This is 10 years ago.
But that that made me smile. Very, very cool. CD-ROMs, guys. You remember those? Those were cool.
Wow.
I just wish it was on a floppy. That would have been the best.
Oh, yeah, don't put it next to your wallet. Probably, or your phone. There's probably a magnet in there. It'll mess it up.
I think it does come. Russ says it comes with a giant card inside, and it's got a sticker. Yes.
Oh god, we
Giant-
broke the packaging.
Giant Astral Set Magic card.
Oh, hell yeah.
Limited time only.
That's a giant astral set.
Pretty phrasing, Tom. Can't say that kind of.
Oh, sorry.
And this one also comes with a poster that's signed by the developers in it. So it's cool, nifty.
That's
Remember
awesome.
when PC games came in these giant boxes for no reason?
Right. Gotta protect the CD.
Yeah,
With all
exactly.
that air.
Exactly.
They'll hire Frito-Lays next to put enough air in the packaging to protect it.
Hell yeah.
Well, Carlos, anything jump out at you this week that made you smile? Oh,
Well,
I hope
I-
I hope that was enjoyable for all parties involved.
I think the closest thing that made me smile this week would be well, actually, I guess it was the last week. It was getting my work laptop.
hell yeah.
I technically have in my possession a MacBook Air, so that's pretty cool.
Oh,
I don't really get to use it for fun shit because I can't I can't download anything onto it. As far as like programs and shit, I cannot install. But
like
it's still cool to have.
You're not allowed, or things
Yeah,
that
I'm
you
not
would use?
allowed. Like
I
it
see.
literally, the software won't let me. So.
Oh, you're straight up locked out.
Oh yeah, it's locked down hardcore. The
Damn.
one thing that the IT guy was like, oh, you could connect it to your own Apple account. I'm like, I fucking have one. What? No. It's like I haven't had that shit since I had an iPod Classic, dude. But yeah, it's fun to walk around with a MacBook in the office. That's and everybody looks at you funny. They're like, "What the fuck is your job?" Like, "Oh, sorry, you don't have one." But yeah, that's about it. I didn't smile all that much this week, and that's partially because of the games that I played. So we'll get into that.
Jesus.
Well, let's get into that. Let me let's see. Let me close this tab that says why isn't my Twitch OBS working correctly, and
That's a weird tab.
move on to what we've been playing. Yeah, Vilas, you got 3 on your list, so let's start with you.
Yeah, I'll go with Endling first. I believe, if I can actually say full words, that would be fantastic. So Endling, Extinction is Forever. Holy shit, that's a title, right? The
a
trailer's
comedy.
working perfectly.
A comedy.
This trailer, as you see here, you are playing the mother of these cute ass little kits, like just the most adorable little foxes. So it starts off you've got 4 babies, and the first day you lose one, not to death, thankfully. But there's a furrier that is in this very dystopian or apocalyptic land. There's a furrier and a group of people that are very sketchy, uh, and the furrier takes your kid. Um, and then the rest of the game happens over the course of 30 days, and the whole thing is you surviving with your kids and then trying to find the one that you lost. And every few days you pick up a scent that goes to the that unlocks a new part of the story itself, because the story is what the furrier did, where they've been throughout the different parts of the land that you'll go to. um, but mostly it's extremely linear, but um, you're basically just walking left to right, hopping up and down off of things, to find food across this wilderness. And as you can see, there's snowy bits, there's very rainy bits. uh, you and your kids have to swim a few times, and that really slows you down. So anytime you find a human, they're 90% of the time they're an enemy. So you have to avoid them, because you basically have one chance. If you're touched by one of the humans, you're immediately injured, and if you're
Hmm.
injured, that slows you down. And if you get hit again by an enemy, like, you basically don't get the shot to recover. So um, you have to basically just feed your kids and then go back home at the end of the day. And there's a timer at the bottom of the screen that shows you how close to nighttime you're getting.
Hmm.
It's very good. It's a really good game.
It's giving
It's
me like
very,
major like inside vibes.
yeah, very much so. There's not as much happening, but a lot of great stuff there. Like, I did say 90% of the time the humans are enemies, but sometimes there's a few kids.
Hmm.
There's a few kids, and I think like one or two
And
adults
they're even worse
that
than the adults.
Yep.
when you find them, like, you're like, should I approach? Because there's not a warning symbol, because there's a warning symbol most of the time when there's a human around. But
Mhm.
some of them you'll find they're kind people, and so the game doesn't warn you, and you get close to them, and a little cutscene sort of thing will trigger, and like they'll give you an apple, or a piece of food or something like that, and you can feed your kids.
Oh.
um, but the wild thing is, like, the kids have different things they can do. Like, some of them can learn to climb or learn to dig. So you unlock these little basic skills for them throughout. It's really an uncomplicated experience, very linear, but just very good, and it is very stressful. There was a point, I believe it was between like days 18 to 23 or 25, that were just so stressful, because uh, most of the places where you find food, it does not come back. So you
Oh,
really
right.
have to be smart about grabbing it, like when you're low on your stamina, um, because sometimes you'll go to a spot that's like really far out. You waste all your stamina just getting to the food, and then you eat it, and it doesn't recover much of your stamina.
Mhm.
Um, so it's really uh, it is a lot tougher than I thought it would be, as far as the survival aspect of it. And it's a very windy map. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, it's going to take me like 5 minutes longer to go this route than I thought it would be, and
Mhm.
your stamina is just dwindling the whole time. And when your stamina goes all the way down, your kids will stop completely, and so you have to go get food and bring it back to them, or feed the others. And thankfully, the AI works, and the AI will wake back up and come to you. But if you're too far off, it will not come to you.
Hmm.
The kid will just be back at where it sat down. Um, but yeah, with the title like Extinction is Forever, the ending is sad.
Yeah. Sounds like it
It's
might be.
super sad.
Huh.
Um,
How'd you find that game? I don't ask you that very often, but how'd
yeah,
this one get on your radar?
This, I believe it was an indie world that mentioned it in a trailer, and I was like, okay, that's hella cute. That's one of those games like the first tree that I wanted to play immediately, like Lost Ember and for the first tree. Um, but the art style really intrigued me, so I found that Best Buy was selling it, and we had one in. We had like literally one copy at our Best Buy around me, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna grab it." Super cheap. It was actually on sale for $20, physical copy for $20, like a couple weeks ago. But it normally runs for 30. Uh, and yeah, it's absolutely worth it. Very good experience. Just definitely be prepared for it to pull your heartstrings.
Yeah.
But you can beat it in 4 or 5 hours. I took my time a little bit, but it was about 6 hours for me. Uh, you can almost one night it, but I would say not to, because there are a couple bits of it that can get a little bit hard, and you don't want to,
Yeah.
like, you don't want to keep stressing yourself out.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Endling.
wonderful.
Cool.
Uh, that let's see. I just had it pulled up on Steam. Where's my thing? That is developed by Hero Beat Studios and published by Handy Games.
Cool. That sounds
So
cool.
that's cool. Yeah, it looked familiar when you started playing the trailer. You described it as a game where you really are spending a lot of your time going from left to right. But the way that the camera moves doesn't make it look like that. You know.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes it look a lot more dynamic. It'll zoom in and out at different times too, story wise.
yeah, because I mean, a game like Inside had times where like the camera was moving and stuff, but even that was pretty, pretty two-dimensional. But that one just looked pretty in a lot of wonderful ways, with the other animals and the humans interacting with everybody. Well, wonderful. That is Endling, and let's see what we got next. Chris, let's bounce over to you. Let's talk about some Tinykin.
Let's talk about some Tinykin, Thomas. Let's do that right as I do hit this button and hit this button. Tinykin. All right. Tinykin is a little
Crushing it.
person, big world. Um, it's some sort of experiment, or you're like not from this planet and you have landed on this planet. You're walking around this abandoned house. You're collecting pollen. You're using these tinykin, basically Pikmin, that all have different roles to solve puzzles, to get you to certain places, to carry things, and it's adorable and extremely satisfying to play. You slide up,
Chris, how's the combat?
no combat, no none of that. Just sliding around on a soap board, using Tinykin to collect the things, exploring the world that is very cool. 3D
So
world,
despite
2D
some
characters.
puzzles,
Yes,
you'd
puzzle
say
solving.
you'd say pretty relaxing.
Yeah. Uh, like I was telling you guys before we hopped on here. I've noticed that playing on your phone is like totally fine, except for like specific like platforming stuff. That's like a little bit harder to do. Like really specific platforming things can be tough, but really, really good. I've been hyping up this game for a while, ever since I demoed it for during the Steam Next Fest. And it's starting to hit. Like people are talking about it. Saw that Giant Bomb really likes it. Uh, there's a lot of people talking about it. It's one of those. As they kind of put it, I guess this year that there's been a lot of indie games that kind of surprised people. Which I was hyped for this, but I know I'm not the average person that I'm not your average gamer. I'm like I'm in there. I know way too many things about too many things. So really, really like this. It's definitely, I think, if you have kids that are pretty smart, and definitely think they could play it. They might have some trouble with the puzzles and stuff.
But
But it's
totally family room game.
absolutely 100%. And like I said, even though it is a family room game or kids could play this game, it is incredibly satisfying to explore this world and talk to all the little bugs, and the tiny kin are adorable. When you just stay idle, they fall asleep. Your character will fall asleep. It's really really fun. It's great. Like I'm glad that people are getting to play it because it's on their Game Pass. Whoop whoop, Game Pass. And other places it's on sale right now on Steam. So I think it's like normally like 25, but now it's like 22 or something like that on Steam right now. If you don't have Game Pass, but it's really really good. And if I had a what do you call that? One of them cool handheld devices that everybody's raving about. Steam Deck.
A Steam Dork.
I was gonna call it a Switch
Yes.
Deck. That's I was like, that's not it. The Steam Deck
The Elgato Switch Deck.
would be perfect for this. Like, it is just that type of game. I've actually been able to play a little bit of it on my phone using touch controls, but really want that bigger screen and all the. That's the real way to play it. But really good. Everybody should check it out. You have nothing to lose. It's on Game Pass. Go play it and enjoy yourself for the I don't know, maybe 10-hour game, maybe. Not
Well,
sure.
you haven't seen the ending yet, but you
No.
have inferred that it is going to be a short one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's see. This game is made by Tiny Build, right? I think I've got that correct.
I think it's created by somebody else, and
Splash Team is the
distributed.
developer.
And distributed
I
by
see.
Tiny Build.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, we played. We
Splash Team.
Chris played the demo and we streamed it. Way back in like spring.
yes.
Or we recorded it. But I mean, this game seems rad. Like this is the number one family game that I've seen this year, as far as just like putting something on that the whole family can enjoy, or someone who doesn't game a lot could try out. Like this would be a great first video game for somebody. But even though Chris, I'm probably gonna watch you play through a bunch of it on stream and off stream. I would like to pick this up and beat it myself. It's just got a lot of satisfying stuff that Pikmin has, but I don't really want to. I mean, I sold my Nintendo Switch. Pikmin just does some Nintendo stuff that I'm not that interested in. That like I don't have anything against Pikmin at all, but as soon as I saw this,
Man,
I was
fuck
just like,
Pikmin.
"Oh, this is gonna scratch that itch." I loved Olimar in Smash Bros. Brawl, but very exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting my own hands on this. Even if I watch you play the whole thing, it just seems satisfying to explore these environments and solve puzzles and all that good stuff. So,
Yeah, it's great.
what
Really
if we bounce back to Carlos here? And let's see.
By the way, I was going to mention because Splash Team apparently this is their second game. Their first game is called Splasher, and it actually looks cool. It looks like a Tinykin game, like for sure, dude.
Oh, nice.
Very, very much a mix between Super Meat Boy and something else.
Okay.
And something else.
It's still got a really cool, cute, very colorful art style.
Oh,
So Splasher.
I see.
and
Oh yeah, Super
Tinykin.
Meat Boy is definitely a good descriptor for this. Platforming, lots of like. It's like if you took the splat stuff from Splatoon.
Yeah.
Everything's just got a very like gooey vibe to it.
Laddie vibe.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, cool.
My next one is going to go ahead and be Never Yield. It's going to be a quick one. So I played through. So I finished both Endling and Aerial Knights. Never Yield, which is a game that came out last year that I had really been looking forward to play. I have it free on Xbox for through Games with Gold, but I played it on Switch because I bought the Super Rare Games version. And boy, this trailer is pretty cool.
It is.
Because this game has a really great art style. But I don't know if it was just the Switch version, but it is lacking. And sorry if you hear the sirens in the background. totally
whoop.
killed somebody. So this game,
The Nintendo police.
yeah, this game in theory is a good game. In execution, it's not. It's been divisive as far as reviews go. I'm sure if I looked on Steam right now, they're probably not even overall positive because the creator kind of had to get defensive a lot on Twitter about it when it released.
That's good.
Um,
That's what you want.
yeah. Uh, so like I came into this with all intents to love it, or to at least like be like, hey, this is still a good game despite things in the super rare version came with all the content on the cartridge. But this is an indie game, yes, of course,
Mhm.
but a lot a lot was sacrificed uh, for this game to have been released in this state. Um, it's one of those Nintendo titles that I guess I would call it a bad port. I don't know. If I play it on PC and it's the same thing, I'll be pissed
Yeah.
because we're talking 20 to 30-second load times in between levels, and these are levels that you play like 3 to 5 minutes. There's 13
That's a long
stages.
time.
Yeah, there's 13 stages. Occasionally, there's a cutscene in between stages, and the cutscenes make no sense. It's a cyberpunk ish kind of story. Like you're just this character that escapes this laboratory sort of situation where you are very clearly like a clone. Uh, and I'm pretty sure there's some metaphors and stuff for race and things like that in there. Uh, but it doesn't translate all that well because there's not really a story. Um, there's a random boss battle in the second level. You complete the second level, and then there's a boss, and then you're like, oh, cool. There's gonna be bosses in this. All right, cool.
Right.
And no, that was the one boss. It's an endless runner where you literally have three different options the whole time. You're pressing a button to do any of these actions. So you're either jumping high over stuff, sliding underneath stuff that's coming at you, or basically there's a parkour button, which is like a mid jump, or like you roll over something in a very matrixy kind of move. And so every time something's coming at you, time slows down for a moment so you can input that button press, and that's it. There's some challenge to it. Most of the successes in this game is you playing and failing the level multiple times, and then once you memorize what happened, you're like, oh, okay, and then you go through it.
Hmm.
um, a very simple game overall, but the total package just brings it down because it's inconsequential, you know.
That's a bummer. It looked really cool,
Yeah,
but yeah, it sucks.
yeah, because the so again, there's 13 levels. On the 13th level, out of nowhere, there's literally no prompts for it at all. There the final level, it takes about 8 to 10 minutes, and that's because about 2 or 3 minutes into the final level, you just start going uh, like teleporting throughout the level and changing direction literally out of nowhere. You jump through this window like the first time, and you all of a sudden are teleported to another part of the level, and you're going this way instead of that way, and so you have to time your button presses a little bit differently. But there's literally nothing that tells you that's going to happen because the whole game it warns you visually because you've got three different colors. You've got a purplish blue color for if you have to slide underneath something. For the mini parkour jump is yellow, and the high jump is red. And it's not all the time. Sometimes it misses, but about like a tenth of a second before something's coming up, a splash of that color will show up somewhere on the edge of the screen, which is it's hard to explain, but uh,
I
that
think I got
happens.
it. Yeah.
Okay, uh, but you get that quick little visual cue to know what's coming before it's coming, and then when you get to this final level, it just throws all that shit out the window. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
even it doesn't even consistently remind you, that you're playing this game. It just tries to subvert your expectations, I guess. And then when I completed it, I think it was 3 deaths is what it took for that final level. It froze on the load screen, and I didn't get to see the final cutscene.
What?
And it literally kicked me out of the fucking game. So I went back in, didn't die, and saw the final cutscene, and I got through the final level in like 7.5 minutes or something like that.
Dude.
Uh, and the big thing was like literally a 5-second cutscene, and
It's just
then
your character turning to the camera and giving a big thumbs up.
yeah, it was just overall unsatisfying, and it really was just annoying for me that it worked out that way.
That's a bummer.
But it was a major bummer for me. Like I still again want to support the indie dev as much as I can, but man, sometimes shit happens like that in development, and this one just needed some more time in the oven.
Yeah. Well, I hope they never yield in their improvement of their future games. That is so that is Aerial Knights Never Yield. That is the whole game or the whole name, because I saw a screenshot of what the name looks like on Switch. That is the whole name.
Yes.
Whole thing.
So Aerial Knights Never Yield. Thank you, Carlos. Let's see. Chris, I've got Spelunky on the list, but if you want to show the video for it, let's do it last.
Okay.
Because if you click in there, you'll see that it's the Twitch VOD from this past weekend instead of a YouTube video. So let's actually talk about Skul some more.
Okay.
We streamed Tinykin and Skul yesterday.
Yes, because Tinykin became uncooperative. But yeah, Skul is that roguelite I've been playing. Finally, I feel like I'm starting to make much more significant progress. The jump from the first space to the second space, and how many times I had to do that was too much. Silly and dumb how many times I had to do it in order to feel like I'm significantly making progress.
Remember that time I was like, "Yo, Chris, this music slaps. Could you turn it up?" And you were like,
I do not want to hear this.
"Nah."
Yeah.
I've already heard this same first area music so many times.
Yes, and I just could not abide by listening to it more. Yeah, the game is fantastic. I'm not here to shit on it. The game is great. It just it's too difficult and doesn't give you the thing about Dead Cells was also very difficult, and this game is very similar. The thing about Dead Cells is that it had more variety. Like everything, like you could see stuff you're like, "Oh, I remember that." And things like that, but this game only has like 4 things that it's shuffling around in this first world, really. And so you see a lot of that stuff over and over and over again. So like when I walk up to it, I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly what to expect in this area. I know exactly the enemies here. I know where they're going to be placed. I know all of that," which is fine. It's the same world. Like in Dead Cells, there was like an option to like go to get out of the sewer really fast and go to another area really quickly to further progress and really feel like you're making it. I have been in this tree village thing for fucking ever, and I don't want to be there anymore. I would like to start in the like ballroom or whatever I'm working on, the second level. But no, you have to go through that, beat that boss, and then go through this area right here. And it's like, man, you're not giving me enough progression. Like, and I know these games are meant to be like, you dive in, you pop out, all that stuff. Like, you play for a little while, stop, play something else for a long period of time, and then come in and play a couple runs and go to sleep or whatever. But it's really satisfying. It just needs It just needed someone to be like, hey, make this a little more like
Give me more pizzazz. Kick me back something more after I finish each run.
yeah, because there was like a
Um,
couple of those runs where I felt like I haven't made any. I got no gems. I got I got nothing to buy anything with because for some reason the randomness of the game was like you need to be at the boss like immediately with no modifiers or no anything.
no prep time, no time to build up.
It's like nothing good, and it's going to take you forever to beat this boss, and you're not gonna. It just it was really it's the randomness of it. I feel like is hurting it in a way that it didn't really hurt Dead Cells. I feel like Dead Cells probably had a higher budget, um, and just had a little bit more to offer. Now they do have the crossover with Dead Cells, like you can play as that character, and it's different every time because basically it's like randomly giving you Dead Cells weapons and stuff in your skills. But it's really good. It's just also very frustrating, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In a way where I'm not. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not playing that game. That game can kick rocks. And then I'll be like, oh, I got some time to kill. I'll pop in and do a couple runs and have a good time. But the skulls are awesome. There's the Rock Band one that's the best. That's pretty cool. Ghost Rider character that's pretty dope. Like it's very cool. It just also like just I wish they gave you a little more, made it a little less obtuse. And I wish there was like more secrets. There was something about Dead Cells that you would like, oh, I can walk over to the left maybe, and there might be a secret room that'll take me somewhere else. Maybe it's a shortcut.
It's like
you know,
the trouble of making a game that is so close to another game, and clearly they love that game. The fact that you can play as the prisoner from Dead Cells, and you get a whole straight out of Dead Cells like loadout and everything, and that's not it's not a knockoff thing. That is a collaboration.
Yeah,
with
it's
them.
very cool. That's probably like the most collaborative I've seen. Like,
yeah, and in Dead Cells, the Skul character is playable in that game as well.
Yes.
As along with several other characters that are in. I don't know if they're all made by the same group of developers or something. They're all connected one way or another. But yeah, I mean the game looks cool, but it's tough, being so close to another game like that because you invite comparison with those other games. So everyone talks about you in the context of the other games. So in this case, it's like, I wish it did this thing that Dead Cells had because that was cool. And that almost does the game a disservice because you're sitting there being like, yeah, this is cool, but I wish that this was like a step up from Dead Cells instead of like just a step over or even like a small step down.
Yeah, and I'd say it's a fantastic game. It stands on its own legs. Like it's like that, but it has its own thing going on with the switching out of the skulls and having different abilities and all of that. That's the time I feel like they spent the most time on like the skulls and all of the different abilities and items and things. Where I feel like they didn't do as good of a job is in the world itself and the levels and things. I feel like that was secondary to look at all the cool shit you can do. But it is great. Like I just, when you really like something and you're like, I really enjoy this, it's okay to have your, yeah, but this is why I'd give it like a 8 instead of a 10.
Yeah, right.
And Motion Twin is a developer of Dead Cells. They're French, and the developer of this game is escaping me, even though I just watched it 80 times on this
Southpaw Games.
Southpaw, there it is. They are from Korea, and very cool to see them collaborate like that because that collaboration is deep. Because Thomas, I was playing today and I didn't grab the Dead Cells thing, but it had 2 different abilities that were like it's like freeze arrow or like a freezing bow from Dead Cells, and the other ability was like a different like a bomb, and I was like,
oh,
that's a completely different loadout than I had when I used
last
the
time
Dead
you picked
Cells
up that
one.
skull.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it can do that with the other skulls as well. Like it'll just like it'll be either this or this, and it kind of like flips them in and out. But with the Dead Cells one, it seems like the Dead Cells one has its own set of abilities that are all different because it's like pulling from Dead Cells lore. So in Dead Cells, you can have a bunch of different types of weapons and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's very cool how deep they went into that. But yeah, cool
Yeah,
game.
very cool. I'm
Also,
excited to see
Game Pass.
more. Yeah. I probably will pick that up, but because the improvements are so incremental, I don't know how long I'll stick with it.
Yes.
But I'm very interested in it. It seems like a solid roguelike. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, just I look forward to more of that. So that's Skul with one L, the Hero Slayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one final time, Vilos, let's bounce back to you. Let's talk about the game that Sav would also be talking about if
Yeah.
they were here.
Yeah.
That game is Splatoon 3.
Oh shit. Yeah, Splatoon 3. If you are not familiar, over the weekend we had the Splatoon 3 Splatfest world premiere. And oh my god, I literally cannot make this fucking camera turn my brightness down. Uh cannot get used to it
Very
right now.
shiny.
Yeah. So Splatoon's Splatfest. It was between rock, paper, and scissors. The first three 3 point competition, so to speak, for these Splatfests. And so myself and Sav both chose Team Paper. We didn't win, but we also were not last like Team Rock. So
Wow.
suck it.
you're
The Splatfest, of
like,
course.
look, at least we aren't Team Rock.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
So Team Scissors won by a surprising margin, but the Splatfests pit different teams against one another in order to just gain basically gain experience points from the victories that we have. So there were obviously enough victories from Team. Wait, was it Team Rock or Team Scissors that won? I don't know. It might have actually
Wow.
been Team Rock that won. I forgot already.
Wow.
Um,
Well, down with
but-
everybody but Team Paper. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. So everybody got back into it. The whole Splatoon community is so funny and precious. Everybody had new drawings. If you're familiar at all with the Splatoon drawings that everybody posts on their socials and stuff, the whole world was full of a lot of great memes. I posted a few pictures on my own Twitter about it. It was pretty great. But Splatoon is Splatoon. It did its thing. It was really not a whole lot different than what we've been playing over the years. There were a couple new weapons that we could play with, but we couldn't really customize them during this playthrough because everybody was supposed to be on the same playing field. Of course, Nintendo made it very Nintendo-like and toned it down pretty big for us.
So that's what genre this is. A Nintendo like.
Yes, Nintendo like. And actually, just to tell you where the community on Splatoon is, one of my favorite things that somebody wrote on their post was, "If your girl is straight, why is she on Team Scissors?" Which is just the best. We gotta get that. Gotta get that in this show.
Oh, geez, Rick.
Ah, geez, Morty.
So as far as the newness of Splatoon 3, really, I didn't play all the new weapons. I think there were either 2 or 3 new weapons in this Splatfest. I did play with the Splatana, which it's the Splatana wiper. So it looks like a wiper blade that you would just steal off a car, and it's incredibly productive, very quick weapon. If you're familiar with the ink brush, which Saab uses exclusively, the Splatana is very similar. It's got these really quick motions, like you literally just and uh, splat uh, splat these really quick blots of ink at people. You can charge it up, so it kind of has a little bit of a snipery range every once in a while. Um, and the special for this was, I forget what they call it, but it's this big ass hammer, and I think the maximum times you can use this giant hammer is like 25 straight button presses. The hammer basically is a one hit kill every time, and so it as long as you tap fast enough, you'll actually go do 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 do, and it will propel you in the direction that you're facing. Like imagine kind of the smash hammer, like
Okay.
very similar, but it's just you drive it around the map for about like 10 seconds, and it's phenomenal. You can
almost
splat
like a
everyone.
bullet bill.
Yes, it is that kind of effectiveness. So that was really fun. But mostly, I stuck to my dual. What is it? The dual dark tetra splatties. I don't remember exactly what the name is for them, but I was dual wielding for most of my play. Was pretty successful. Won a good bit of games. Um, but it is Splatoon. Nothing crazy different. Obviously, the single player is going to be a different story. And actually, just now you're seeing the Splatana on video here. But it's very fun. Like, there's no way that I'm not going to play Splatoon 3. So yeah, just go out and grab it if you've never played Splatoon before. You might as well start here. I'm pretty sure what we've seen in the directs and stuff like that, the single player is going to be a little bit more substantial, and multiplayer is literally always fun, even if you lose. It's very rare that you get blown out in a game of Splatoon, and if you do get blown out, like it's bad, 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 like bad, bad.
Bad.
I did I got blown out once over the weekend, and I think my team got something like 18% of the field
Oh,
covered,
Man,
which is
brutal.
stupid bad. Like my contribution was the team because
you had 15%, and your 3 teammates each had 1%.
I'm not even kidding you. I took a screenshot of almost every single game at the end score, and yes, I was the top of my team, and it was horrible because I still died like 6 times. But it's a
See, the
super
problem
fun
is you're
game.
playing with Switch players. See,
That's the main problem.
Yeah. Got to get those PC players in the shit. Which,
right?
by the way, one other side note is that a lot of people were banned because they were dumb enough to try to mod uh, this Splatfest. Like people were
Really?
modding it because we technically had the demo a few days earlier. Like we could download it like a full week before it actually went live, and people had modded it in that short period span. And yeah, they've already been banned. Um, Nintendo was not going to give any fucks about it. Like
Why would anybody
people were
expect them
posting
not
videos
to?
on Twitter and shit, and they're like, "All right, banned." Like so easy. I don't know why anybody would have done it, but yeah, that was interesting to see. But
Well,
we've got a Splatoon release in just a little over a week, so
heck
That's
yeah.
wild. Comes out the same day as NBA 2K.
Ooh,
wild.
so they'll have to compete with each other.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Wh-
Well,
direct
which
shot.
they're both gonna sell like hotcakes. I promise.
Well, wonderful. Then the last game that we've got on our list is Splunky 2. It's the only game I'm going to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the fantastic stream that we had this past weekend. It was the first proper stream where we had chat making rules for us. Of course, it was mostly Lizzie in the other room, but still counts. Still counts. Something that's fun is because of these technical difficulties we've had, the stream runs behind the real time, right? So Lizzie's trying to be supportive and like drop good sound bites, the blurb sounds at the right times. But she can't listen to the stream that she sees on TV. She has to hear me holler from the other room and then guess that she is using the right sound alert at the right time. And she's been nailing it. So
Amazing.
the
Real
first rule that
MVP.
we had, real MVP. The first one that we had, she made the rule we were going to kill Olmec. So Olmec is the boss after the second area. Normally, you can see him on screen now. Normally, you get him to crush the blocks to get you down to the next area, and then you leave. You go to the next area and just continue your run, and that's that. But I've never killed Olmec in the whole time that I've played this game. I know how to do it, but I've never done it. So that was our rule. You kill Olmec by getting him to crush the top layer here. He falls down to the second area and gets these two little weak spots on the bottom side of him, and you've got to break them one way or another to once again get him to smash to the ground. But when he's in the second layer, he shoots bombs out
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
sides. It's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And then in the third area, he instead of he crushes you, because in the second area he only flies around and shoots bombs. He doesn't try to crush you. In the third area, he crushes you while also shooting his alien pals outside of from inside of him, and those alien pals shoot down to destroy the environment. You can also jump on their heads, and the aliens will pop out, and they'll use a parachute that's pretty funny looking to fall safely to the ground, and their spaceship will fly off and explode like a bomb on the ground. A fun little thing I discovered this time was that not all the parachutes are the same parachute. One of the parachutes the alien used was a pair of boxers that had pink hearts on it, that like you'd see in a cartoon. So you gotta love those little flavor things. I've seen a lot of spaceships, but I've never seen that happen. Anyway, in this one, I finally kill Olmec for the first time, but in the final moment that he died, I got squished and I blew up and I died too. So after all that, it was a great triumph, but we just died at the same time. So I was like, Lizzie, does that count? She's like, nope, gotta do it again. I'm like, that's the first time I've ever done it, and it doesn't count. Okay, here we go again. So I go back and I kill Olmec a second time later. You won't see that in this video, but we kill him, and he falls to the ground in this lava pit at the bottom of the level, because that's how you kill him. He's invulnerable to damage, but if he breaks through the ground enough times, he ends up in lava. Well, as he's sinking down, I see, oh, dip, there are these, the holes in the back of the level. Yeah, there's me exploding in the exact same moment. There are these holes in the level, and if you stand on Olmec's head as he sinks down, if you just mash the button to walk through a door, you can walk through those holes. But I didn't see that till Olmec had already fallen down too far. So I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Now I have to kill Olmec a third time to see what this does. And I freaking did it. So I killed Olmec 3 times on this stream. Never killed him before. We get into the back area, and you do some stuff, you jump around, and I found the Ankh. The Ankh is an item from the second game that's very difficult to get. It's the only thing in the game that gives you an extra life. So I got the Ankh for the first time. We managed to get to the Egypt level, which was it's a very dangerous area. I immediately died twice, so immediately squandered the Ankh. So my run was pretty quickly over. But in that same run, there are these Anubis characters that are very, very, very dangerous. They can do all sorts of crazy things. I killed one. I killed Anubis for the first time as well. So that was a fun little achievement.
Nice.
He drops this scepter that I found a door that looks like you can put the scepter into, but I died like for real, right before I could do that. But I was really excited. That was 2 new kills I've never gotten before. Thanks to chat giving us these rules, but it was just a really fun way to experience the game in a different way. These rules have been an absolute blast. Since we did kill Olmec, we did what we set out to do. The next rule that we had was to just make everybody mad. So that meant stealing from the shopkeeper. And for those who don't know, in Spelunky, once you make the shopkeeper mad, any shopkeeper you see in the rest of the game will try to fight you, and they all have shotguns, and you have a whip. So they're very dangerous. And at the end of every single level in the game, a shopkeeper will spawn. An angry shopkeeper will spawn. So every time you get to the end of a level, there's a shopkeeper waiting to kill you. So it's very spicy. But there's that. There are these sacrificial altars to Kali. Normally, you make a sacrifice to Kali. Like if you remember from Indiana Jones, which this has a lot of influences from. The guy pulls the dude's heart out and he says Kalima. So
He does say that.
So there are these altars, and normally you sacrifice something to Kali, and eventually she'll reward you. But I blew them up, and when you blow them up, a ton of different enemy types pop out. It's very dangerous. But for the first time ever, I blew up 2 of them in the same run, and when I did that, having no idea that there was any special stuff that would happen when I did that, a new playable character appeared. a character named Beg who shows up in these like tattered robes, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Beg. I'm an agent of chaos with a capital C. Um, chaos is the enemy of Kali or something." And so now I have a new playable character, but now I know that there's a quest line to keep destroying those altars, and whatever this whole chaos thing is, uh, I guess we'll find out. We'll discover more things in the run as we go. But just lots of fun discoveries, things that I wouldn't have found on my own. But I mean, this game has so much discovery and challenge that you really don't know what's hidden until you just try something different. So that was such a fun stream.
Oh yeah.
Seeing so many new different things.
So you're saying you'll never finish this game?
I'll never finish this game, dude. There's so many undiscovered things. I have like a dozen playable characters that I've never seen yet. I have at least 6. I probably have more than 6 areas like of the game that I've never even seen. It's probably more like 8. I once went down a wiki rabbit hole. I don't like the wiki stuff for games that I know I'm going to play for a long time. That rely on discovery for a lot of their entertainment. But I looked around one time, and I saw a whole page of areas of the game, and I was like, I recognized so few of them that I didn't understand what part of the wiki I was on. I was like, I've never heard of that, never heard of that, never heard any of these.
Yep.
So there's just so much more left in store. But I streamed that last Saturday. I don't know if I'll have a chance to stream again this weekend, but I sure would love to do it. Absolute blast. Love that game. So that's Spelunky 2, yet another game that's on Game Pass. Shoot, almost every game we played today. I think 4 of them are from Game Pass.
Yep.
Joked with Odysseus that we're going to set up a command that counts every time we shield for Game Pass. # not an ad.
Hell yeah.
# not sponsored. But go play that. Spelunky's a wonderful experience. I'm just going to keep talking about it with the cliff notes because y'all are giving me new fantastic reasons to enjoy that game. But with that, that is what we've been playing, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't actually choose one. I mean, I could maybe pick one, but we decided instead of doing a bunch of newsy bits or a party topic today, in an effort to get to Escape Academy, which we'll have our third and final run for to complete the game today, we're just going to briefly touch on up to one topic each. A little newsy bit. The only thing, I didn't even write this down, the only thing that I saw today that jumped out at me, Darkest Dungeon 2, it looks like the bounty hunter is coming to that game. That was a fun character from Darkest Dungeon 1 who is all about fighting big targets, because you usually fight up to 4 enemies at a time, but some enemies are big and they take up, multiple spaces.
Spots, yeah.
The bounty hunter was always very good at that. He would to do a ton of extras and all that stuff. So,
we're losing you. You're breaking up, Thomas. You going through a tunnel?
Oh, yep. I'm on an airplane right now. My flight is taking off. Yeah. Well, good thing I'm not streaming because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, bounty hunter, good. Darkest Dungeon 2.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I can't wait for that game to fully come out.
Yeah. How about you, Chris? I know you got one down here.
Oh, I got a semi big one, and I will be quick about it. But I do have video on the ready because that's how I roll.
Oh, let's go.
So PlayStation announced their Essential and everything that's coming out this month for the month of September for Premium, PS Plus, and all that. So your Essential free monthly games that you get with just the basic PlayStation Plus is Need for Speed Heat. Sure. This is the one I'm excited about, though. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is a fighting game that was very well received. It's supposed to be pretty simple to play, and has like an RPG mode, like storyline. So you're actually playing like an RPG in a fighting game to like learn how the game works. And you can like upgrade your weapons and all that kind of stuff. It just sounds cool. It looks gorgeous. All those games always look gorgeous. Any of those like, I don't know, I can't remember if this is Atlas or Arc System Works. So yeah, they do great stuff. So it looks very cool, and also Poem is going to be there,
Yeah.
which I've heard very good things about Poem. I know that's the black and white photo game.
Yeah, Shanny Pack and I joined Shanny Pack because he played it on stream ages ago. That's a fun little cute game. Another great family game, full of lots of like quirky surprises.
Yes, and
It's like Pokemon Snap in the 1920s, kind of.
yeah, and here comes a big selling point. I've been doing this already. We say Game Pass a lot. I am also going to have to start having a counter for PS Plus Premium. Because PS Plus Premium is awesome, y'all. So this is what's coming to PlayStation Plus Extra. Premium is the one that gives you the retro ones. But we have Deathloop, very cool game. Glad to see that there. Assassin's Creed Origins, sure. If you haven't played that, Watch Dogs 2, sure. Spiritfarer Farewell Edition. It left Game Pass, but is now on PlayStation Plus Premium. Chicory, A Colorful Tale, which I'm very excited to play. Heard a lot of really, really good things about Chicory. It was on a bunch of top 10
I'll watch
lists.
Lizzie play it.
Yes. So now that's going to be on there. That's very cool.
Oh, hey, a fun thing about Chicory, if you've watched any of it, you paint the environment to like solve puzzles and stuff, but you can
Yes.
also just paint stuff for fun. I didn't know that you can zoom out and there's a world map where you can see everything that you've colored on the whole entire
Yes.
world.
And it shows the color, yeah.
Yeah, like that a lot.
Very cool. A game that I love that I'm really excited that some people may finally get their hands on it. Oh, we're about to have an ad. Nope, no, we don't. Not today. A game that I'm very excited that people are finally going to get to play if they haven't is Rayman Legends. That game
Oh yeah.
fucking rules. And that's going to be on there. We knew like some of these Ubisoft games were going to start coming to PlayStation because I think they had they had some sort of agreement that came out that they were going to be doing that. So Scott Pilgrim versus the World also going to be coming there. Glad I didn't buy it for $4 right now on the
would've been
PlayStation
just
sale.
Tragedy.
But then what you get for your premium, this is the classic games. This is something I'm very excited about. The Sly Collection. The Sly Cooper Collection is coming to PlayStation Premium, as well as Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, which is the last Sly Cooper game. Those are both PS3 games, so I'm assuming those will be only streamable and not downloadable. Some of them are. It just depends on the game. But I'm excited because Sly Cooper is one of the like forgotten PlayStation mascots, and I'm like, why haven't they done anything with that? Like I know it's Sucker Punch, so they've been busy. But,
they got a reason or two.
Yeah, but like, I would think that we could figure something out where some other, maybe Blue Point or somebody could make a Sly Cooper or something. Like, one of these other companies can make a Sly Cooper game, and it'll be awesome. Like with how well like platformers are made now, like I just think like a Sly Cooper game would rule. And I'm excited to like finally go back and play these. I never played Sly Cooper. It was just one of those ones that I never played, even though I had a PlayStation 2, had a PlayStation 3. Missed out. But I'm excited to finally get a chance to check them out and see what all the fuss is about. What's all this hubbub about?
Yeah,
but,
you can literally play each one in a weekend if you really tried. But I would say like take one day to play the first one, and you'll be very very excited.
Yeah, and all of these come at the like the 3 free games come right at the beginning at like September 6th or something, and then all of the other things that are added to PS Plus are adding at the end of the month. So on the 20th, I believe. A little bit of that Sly collection. Look how awesome it is. It just looks dope. Really
Would you just
excited.
look at it?
Would you just look at it? Give me some Tinykin vibes with the sliding around and all that. But yeah, very stoked to play some Sly Cooper games. Just get in there and some of the classic games are fun to just, maybe you don't play them for very long, but at least you get to go back and play a little bit on
Yeah.
these. It's just nice that they're there too. Just be like, oh, if I ever want to go back to these classic games, I have somewhere to play them. You just have this giant library. The only things that are leaving are like Red Dead Redemption 2 and another game I can't remember. Yeah, this Toy Story 3 PSP game going to be a big hit. But yeah, it's really cool that I think that they're really. Let's see what else is leaving here. Goes at the end. It's really cool that finally PlayStation figured out. We have to do something to compete with Game Pass, and I think they're doing it. I really think they are. Like, I think it's not you're not quite getting the like Thor Ragnarok's not going to be on there like day one.
Right.
But that's fine. Like, I think that's okay. Like, Xbox doesn't have to put does not have to put that stuff in there, but they do. They don't have to put their day ones in there. But I think, I think it's great that they're finally getting their wits about them and are like, hey, we know how to do this and still like be able to sell our big major games, but we also have this really cool service that'll add a lot of value. Like, a buddy of mine just found out that it existed. He's like, what? They have this for like, you just have all these PlayStation games? You just have them. I was like, yeah. He's like, that's awesome. That's so cool. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. You just pay the $17.99 or whatever. Like, everybody that's been on a PlayStation ecosystem and they don't really follow gaming and they don't have an Xbox, they might have heard of Game Pass,
Right.
And like with the price of PlayStation 5s and the price is going up, like the only ones that you apparently can find right now are the ones that come with Horizon. Like, that's a hell of a value to be like, I just got a PlayStation 5. Let me just pay this monthly fee, and here's a ton of games, and you will be completely satisfied. You don't have to buy anything, brand spanking new or anything. So, yeah, that's they just keep adding more and more stuff to it, so it's just going to get better and better.
Heck yeah. Well, cool. Well, that's PSP, SP. That is PlayStation Premium Plus.
PlayStation Plus Premium,
Sorry, my mistake.
Extra, and Essential. Essential's the lowest tier, which is weird. Extra is the next tier, and Premium, I mean, I think they could have done nothing but peas and really used some alliteration, and it'd been much more fun, but they didn't do it.
Missed opportunity for sure.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I really need them to like add a couple plus signs and then subtraction signs and then like max.
Right.
That's all we really need.
Yes.
Or does PlayStation have like an avatar kind of thing? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Not anymore. That was the PlayStation Home was the closest we got to that.
was that like the robot? Am I making
Well, I
this up, or am
mean,
I mixing it up?
you're talking about like Astro's Playroom.
Do you mean like a mascot?
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
am talking about Astro's Playroom. Yeah, because I mean I don't know. I feel like they could do something. Anyway, whatever. I'm not their marketing team. They need to pay me for that.
Pay the
For
man.
Xbox, maybe.
Yeah, Xbox maybe. But wonderful. Well, this then has been the Party Invite podcast, because we've talked about what we've been playing. We've covered a little bit of news, and now we're about to move on to the game stream. Vilas, before we do that, could you tell everybody where they can find us online?
Yes, and thank you for the segue, because I think we actually missed it last week. So, for anybody that's new here, check out www.partyinvite.games. That is where you will find links to our Discord, which is our #1 community area to go to. Just get in there, because Facebook sucks, but we do have a Facebook group. Of course, our other socials like Twitter and Insta are also linked on our website. but you'll also find blogs there. Mostly right now, it's just my backlog posts. But I say just, and some of them will take you like a half hour to read. But if you are into what people are playing and stuff like that, the blog post that we got there will satisfy you. And of course, that's what I'm here for. No, uh,
Oh,
we
baby.
we are looking forward to getting some more blogs up there though, and if you guys tell us what you want, we will put some more reviews up there because we kind of play games. Other than that, we are also trying to push our YouTube. So if you take everything a little bit more visually, then you'd rather just watch instead of read stuff, then go to our YouTube. You'll find all of our podcasts there, but you'll also find some random stuff. You'll find uh, unboxings of new purchases that I've made, and which is a stupid amount of games. Uh, and then you'll find the occasional review or uh, the closed beta uh, video from Exoprimal is up there too. We've got a lot of little things like that, and then of course we've got our old QTE videos, which are our deep dives, and like there's a serious amount of content on our YouTube. So please check that out if you haven't. And of course, we just want to see you around in our community and giving us your thoughts on things. So drop by, especially our Discord, and we'd be happy to have you.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
yeah.